Hey there, everyone. What's up? I am here today to talk about Tokyo Game Show, and I went to Tokyo Game Show this year. Um, I don't really know why. I usually don't go. I don't go every year. I just go when there's usually something I want to try or something I want to play. But this year I didn't really have anything. Bloodborne was there, went to try, but the line was ridiculous, so I didn't end up playing it. And yeah, I didn't really end up doing all that much there. I just kind of walked around, saw some stuff, met up with some friends. That was about it. But I did see everything, and I did check out some stuff. So I'm just going to talk about Tokyo Game Show in general to give you guys my thoughts on stuff that was announced. I want to say that not that much was new. There were new trailers and stuff for things we've already heard of, but there wasn't a ton of like stuff that I thought, oh, that's really new. Like I never saw that before. There's some stuff obviously, but it wasn't as much as I had hoped. But yeah, we'll talk about stuff that was there. So let's see. Um, I guess we'll start with the PS4. I got notes here, so if I'll probably miss stuff, but I took some notes, and we'll go through them by system. So we'll start with the PS4. Um, what was new? Deep Down was there. It wasn't playable, obviously, but it did change the tone of Deep Down a lot. If you guys saw the original trailer, it looked like Dark Souls, Capcom version or whatever, but now it reminds me of Assassin's Creed mixed with Dark Souls. Like it started off all like high fantasy or dark fantasy or whatever, but the new trailer is like all types of like futuristic and stuff, and you find that, I mean, we already kind of knew this was true about Deep Down, but you're in the future and you're kind of delving into memories or whatever to go into the stages, and that's kind of what was the new trailer was about. So yeah, no, but they actually showed the future parts in the game in the new trailer, and it was a lot different in tone to the previous one. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited for it still, even though it's free to play and all that. It might be all right. Who knows? What else is there? Disgaea 5? Was that announced? I want. It's hard to tell because I know a lot of stuff was announced like a week before TGS itself, but I guess I can lump those in. But I'm not going to be sure if they were when they were announced. But Disgaea 5, I guess it's coming in March. But yeah, I still haven't played Disgaea 4. So, or D2 actually. So I've only played 1, 2, and 3 at this point. But I should eventually I'll get to 5, but I'll probably wait and hope that a Vita release gets made because this guy is really, for me, a portable series. It's not obviously, but I hope D2 comes out on the Vita. There was some other stuff I can kind of go over that I didn't pay a lot of attention to. Dragon Ball Xenoverse came out. I saw it. I looked at it briefly, but I'm like totally not interested. I don't care. More Dragon Ball fighting games. Maybe it'll be good. Who knows? Dragon Quest Heroes was there. That was a pretty big announcement, even though it came like a bit before TGS. Again, it's not something I even care remotely about, but having that kind of like a Dynasty Warriors looking Dragon Quest game it's going to be big in Japan, I think. Hopefully it'll get released outside of Japan too, though really who knows with Dragon Quest's kind of track record as of late. um, Earth Defense Force was there and it was crazy. They had like a big stage. It was weird because you don't like Earth Defense Force is D3 publisher. It's like a low budget publisher, but they had a huge booth. It was huge, and Earth Defense Force 4.1 or whatever for the PS4 had this crazy huge what's it called, banner, and there was like a constant live stream going on of people playing the game, like actors and things. I don't They spent a lot of money on it, on their booth, I'd say, because they were like squealing models and stuff playing the game. It was it was the loudest booth I think on all of TGS. It was crazy. It was constantly loud, and there were always people around. So I guess good for them. I hope it sells well because Earth Defense Force is good. There was also, I guess I'll talk about that in the Vita part, but whatever. I'll just talk about it now. In the also for the Vita, there's like a re-release of Earth Defense Force 2 that was originally on the PS2. It's weird that they're releasing that though because it came out on the PSP also. Like they released it originally on the PS2, and then like a couple years back they released it on the PSP, and that now they're releasing it again on the Vita. I don't know. Maybe there's some new content. I didn't really pay attention because getting near that booth was hard because there were always so many people. Um, but I'm sure there's some new stuff to make it worthwhile. I haven't really been catching up on all the news for this stuff. Another game that had a huge presence was I'm trying to think of the English name. Damn. That's rough. The game is what's it called? Psycho Break. In the Japanese name is Psycho. It's Evil Within. Psycho Break is had a huge presence. There was like a huge billboard as you came into TGS, and then there were banners up all over the place. That comes out pretty soon. That's like next month for that. But yeah, they're really pushing that pretty hard, and I'm pretty excited for it. But I haven't pre-ordered it or anything, but I assume I'll be able to get it anywhere if I feel like playing it right away, which I'm not sure I do. Yeah, I don't know. It's exciting, but it's we've heard about it. I was actually supposed to be working on that game. I was hired to work on that game, but then they changed the development plans, and I didn't eventually end up doing the job. Totally unrelated. Um, there was a crapload of Final Fantasy stuff at TGS this time. So much Final Fantasy stuff. Of course, you had the Type Zero HD trailer, and then you had. I mean, I don't really care about that. That was announced a while back, and I'm not really interested. Final Fantasy 15, though, that trailer came out, and I'm pretty excited for that. I haven't played a Final Fantasy since Final Fantasy 12, which I hated. And I didn't play Final Fantasy 13 because Final Fantasy 12 like killed my hype for Final Fantasy forever, I thought. But Final Fantasy 15 has certain something to it that I'm really liking. I think Dustin Christ was saying, "Why am I driving the car?" Which is funny. I mean, my hair isn't blonde anymore, but that was a pretty funny. But that was in the chat. Whatever, not important. But I thought it looks pretty cool. I like the idea of driving the car. It's like road trip Final Fantasy style or something. That's what it reminded me of. Just like four goofballs in a car driving around fighting monsters. That was the trailer essentially, but it still looked cool. I don't I I don't know. I think the battle system is, it's not turn based. It still looks cool though, and I'm wondering how it's going to be played. If it's going to be fast paced, or if it's going to be a little bit more slow and tactical, something like a Monster Hunter kind of pace, or if it's going to be more like much faster than that. But I don't really care. I like both of those kind of styles. So whatever way it goes, I'm gonna buy Final Fantasy 15 because it looks pretty good right now. I doubt they could do anything to kill like my want to buy it at this point. There was what else was there? There were more Final Fantasy stuff. Again, we'll talk about that in the Vita section because if I go over all this stuff now, it'll be too much. Um, what else was there on the PS4? Guilty Gear. They showed a bit of the. There was a booth. There was like a PlayStation 4 booth. But Sony had a huge booth there, and they had a lot of stuff that I wanted to try out, but like the lines were ridiculous. So I tried out some stuff at the Sony booth actually. That was like stuff that had short lines, mostly Vita stuff. But there was a Project Morpheus booth that I really wanted to check out. I saw people like freaking out with the Project Morpheus headset on, and you know, it's weird because like when you watch people do it, like their body contorts in all these goofy ways, and it's pretty funny. So I was hoping to try it, but the time for it passed really quickly. I didn't go like first thing in the morning. I went like a little later in the afternoon, and like by the time I got there, all the super popular stuff was already stopped getting people for line because like the wait was like till the end of the day. So hence why I didn't get to play Bloodborne. Well, let's talk about Bloodborne because I did watch it for a little bit, and it looks really cool. They were giving away free T-shirts if you beat the demo. I don't know how many people got free T-shirts, but it was pretty awesome looking. You go through and they had like a little setup, and I watched it. It's a lot faster paced than Dark Souls. Um, it's more attack focused. Like this is all stuff everybody has already heard, though. It's not like I'm dropping knowledge on you guys here, but I did get this thing, which is like Bloodborne, this big like presentation thing for it. It's pretty cool. Um, yeah, but this opens up into like this big Bloodborne thing. You can't even see it. It's off the camera at this point, but I thought that was pretty cool. It just show a bit of the screenshots and stuff, which is pretty nice. The game looks fantastic. Like looking at it, it was like um, unrelated to this, but my my ex girlfriend was working at the Sony booth, and she was right next to Bloodborne. She wasn't working at Bloodborne, but she was right next to there, and she like isn't like a huge gamer or anything, but she was watching Bloodborne all day, and she was like, "I really want that game. I'm gonna buy a PS4 to buy Bloodborne." Take note, she's never played Dark Souls or Demon Souls, but she really liked it. And like later on in the day, I ran into another friend of mine from my Pathfinder group, and she was also saying like she'd never played Dark Souls, but Bloodborne was like the game she was super excited about that she saw. And again, she's never played any of the other games, so they really did a good job with Bloodborne. It had huge lines. Like the line was ridiculous. I mean, I got there around noon, but and the day ends at 5 o'clock or so, 5 or 6. But the line was already too long to add more people. So it was probably the most popular game. They had a really cool booth and a ton of games set up, but it was just there was too much demand for Bloodborne. Everybody was hyped about Bloodborne. Um, I want to say it was the most hyped game there because it was seriously crazy. Bloodborne, it was Bloodborne Mania at TGS. Um, it was good though. Watching it was good. Looking at everybody's reactions to it was good. And I was pretty excited that like so many people who weren't really into the series, like Dark Souls and stuff, were impressed with it and wanted to buy it. I think like it's gonna be a really big game on the PS4, and I think that's pretty cool because it's part of a series I enjoy. Let me think. What was next? Yeah, next to Bloodborne was a Tekken maybe, Tekken and Guilty Gear, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was like the new Tekken. I didn't play any of that stuff. Um, what else was in PS4? There was some stuff for Metal Gear Solid, but I didn't really look at it. Let's see. Omega Quintet was there. That didn't look too interesting to me. I don't really know why. That they didn't. I looked around for Silent Hill stuff, but I didn't see anything. I saw that there was a trailer, but not really anything at the show. I didn't. I mean, maybe there was, but I didn't see anything. Which I was looking for that too. So I don't know. I didn't see anything though. Yakuza Zero was there too. Sega had a pretty big booth, um, but a lot of the stuff they were showing wasn't stuff I was totally interested in. For the most part, on the day I was there, the day I was there was the day where Atlas did their stream, so I was there for that. But Yakuza Zero was there, and they had a huge booth and lots of videos like showing previews and stuff. But obviously there was no gameplay, like you couldn't play it, and it's still like what, like 6 or 7 months out. So whatever. It's not important, but it was pretty awesome looking. They had the voice actor for Kiryu was there. Not on the day I went. He was there the next day. A friend of mine also went for that. But man, Yakuza Zero is going to be awesome. I think 1980s Japan is like the craziest Japan time ever. It's the best time for the most interesting at least because there's all types of crazy money and crazy activities going on, and I think it fits the Yakuza game so well. Like Ryuga Gotoku has that kind of like wackiness to it, and I think the level of wackiness for the submissions and sub stories is going to be off the charts in this one, which is going to be awesome. I can't. I'm trying to think of what else there was for the PS4. I don't really know. There were, I think like God Eater was there. Oh yeah, there was God Eater because I have this bag, God Eater, and it's also for the Vita though. But PS4 Vita, this God Eater 2 and Tales of Zestiria, but I don't think that's on the PS4. So we'll talk about that when we get to the PS3. But PS Vita, I guess we'll talk about. That's how it is on the list. Vita had a bunch of stuff, and I did play a couple of things. Some interesting stuff for me. I played Murasaki Baby, and I've been pretty interested in that game. It comes out really soon, like 2 or 3 weeks. But that game is a lot of fun. It's kind of like a puzzle game with all these kind of weird mechanics. It looks pretty awesome, though. You get to like, it's like a action puzzle where you're just kind of dragging. It's all touchscreen based, and you have to use the front and back touchscreens to do various things. But you're just kind of dragging this little monster baby around by the hand, and it walks around and carries a balloon. And if the balloon pops, you die. If you get attacked by something, you'll die. But you're basically dragging along the baby, and she walks and gets scared easily. So you have to, when she gets scared, you have to, figure out a way past the area so she won't be scared anymore. And you can change the backgrounds, and the backgrounds have different various effects depending on what the color is. It's pretty awesome, actually. I really enjoyed that, playing it, and I think I'll probably buy that right away, actually. It was pretty interesting. Like I mentioned earlier, Earth Defense Force 2 was there again, and yeah, I'll probably buy that eventually. I didn't buy the one on the PSP, even though I kept meaning to. I just never got around to it. But this one seems like a better version because it has online, and hopefully it'll come out in North America and be compatible, so I can play with some other people online. That would be cool. Going back, we got the Final Fantasy Agito or Agito. I don't know how it's pronounced. I'd have to see the Japanese. But was announced for PS Vita, and that's like a port of a cell phone game, a smartphone game. I don't really know what it is. Is it a card battle game? Hell if I know. I haven't paid any attention to that. Like usually when companies announce a game and they're like for iOS and Android, I'm like tune out, not even looking anymore. So, and that's like that's probably unfair for some stuff, but for the most part, it's like a kind of a good way to to run things until they somehow work it out so that smartphones are awesome for gaming. At least currently they are not. Yeah, there was Sega had Hatsune Miku there for the Vita, but I'm not sure if there's a new game coming out. I don't really pay that much attention to it actually. What else was there? Persona 4 Dancing All Night was in the Atlas stream, and it's delayed. That that one was like we knew it was supposed to be coming, but it was supposed to be coming in like October. But yeah, it's delayed to 2015, so there's something going on, and hopefully it'll be good. It looked pretty interesting actually. They did show some more footage of it with different characters, and I'm not like a huge rhythm game fan, but I'm gonna buy this one because, if you play Persona, you know that the games are long, so you'll be playing for hours. And like I put it like over 100 hours into Persona 3 and Persona 4, and probably more than that for Persona 4 and Persona 3 because I played them more than once. But those songs, they get drilled into your head. You can't get them out except with a bullet. There's no way to get it out of your head. So those things are in there, and I think playing the music rhythm game with familiar songs will at least be fun. So there's that. Sega also had Phantasy Star Nova stuff there, and oh wait, that's PS3. Phantasy Star Nova was there. I didn't really check it out all that much. I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy it or not. I know it'll probably be okay, but I'm not super excited for it. Maybe when it gets cheaper, I'll probably pick it up. Who knows? What else got announced? Stranger of Sword City got announced, which is, I mean, that's not an announcement really. It's just kind of like finally there's a release date, and that's a new experience RPG and I mean it's already out on the 360 and on PC. So if I really wanted to play it, I could play it right now. But I'm just holding out for the Vita version because I prefer those games on the Vita, and I think this one has the potential to be really the best experience RPG. It looks pretty cool, and I think um, it'll probably it'll definitely be better for me than Tokyo New World Record was, only because it's a new game and not a remake of a game I already played. So yeah, they announced Sword Art Online 3. I've never played any of those, and I've never watched the anime or anything, so I don't really know what to say about that. I saw it there though, and that's all I can say. What else? Dungeon Travelers 2-2 was Dungeon Travelers 2 2, I guess. Stupid naming, but yeah. There's that. I haven't played the first Dungeon Travelers. It's kind of like a all-girl dungeon crawler, like a first-person dungeon crawler, and I have on good word that it's actually pretty good, but I haven't played it. But a sequel kind of is interesting to me in that, like, maybe I should buy it, because if there's going to be a sequel and it's more first-person dungeon crawlers, it's going to come out and I'm going to want to buy it probably. And I'm assuming there's no ridiculous rubbing like Moiro Chronicles has. So, I don't mind that it's all girls or whatever, but as long as I don't have to do the rubbing, then I'm okay. They also announced the Clock Tower spiritual successor, Project Scissors or something, but it's for Vita and iOS and Android, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. It could be alright though. Hopefully it's alright actually, because a new kind of Clock Tower game would be pretty awesome. There wasn't actually all that much stuff for the Vita there. They were showing stuff like Minecraft, and you could play demos, and like it was funny because like when you go over to the Vita section, anytime like you had to like, there was this weird thing where you couldn't just like go up to a game and stand in line. You had to like go through a different line to get a ticket to stand in line for a different game. It was like an extra line for no apparent reason. But when I was waiting in line for the Vita to get tickets for the Vita games, there was like 15 games they were showing. And every time there was a kid in line, every single kid, literally every single kid that was in line was like, I want to play Minecraft on the Vita. That was all everybody wanted to play. If you were like around 8 to 10 years old and you were at Tokyo Gameshow, you wanted to play Minecraft on the Vita. It was like I could see kids dragging their parents over there to be like, we gotta play Minecraft on the Vita. I don't get it. I don't get Minecraft. It's not something I understand or play at all. So, whatever. But it's still super popular on the Vita, I guess. There were, but yeah, there weren't really that much games like in terms of new stuff or stuff we didn't know about at TGS for the Vita, which is kind of sad because it's weird actually because I think a lot of the people who are making games for the Vita are like too small to be at TGS or like don't have a publisher yet because there's so many games announced that I've heard about that weren't there. So I don't know. This was just whatever Sony was featuring, I guess, essentially at their booth, and they had a kind of press only upstairs section that I didn't go into, so maybe there was more stuff. But rounding out the Sony section, the Sony section, it was split into sections. So you had the Vita and then PS3 and PS4, and the PS4 section was like the main section essentially, and the Vita section was also there. And the PS3 stuff was like almost they were non-existent at the booth. Like there aren't any games featured really that were PS3 only. So, but there's a bunch of games that I mentioned already that will be coming out on the PS3 only. So like Shining Resonance was at the Sega booth. I didn't really look at it because there were Elf cosplayers there for the booth, and it was just like swarmed with camera nerds. So it was the kind of thing where you just couldn't get close to it. There was like no way to get close to the booth because it was just swarmed all the time. The elves were there. So yeah, there's that. There was also, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Tales of Zestiria. They were handing out bags. I didn't check it out all that much. I'm not like a huge Tales fan. I just find it mostly mediocre. But yeah, Tales of Zestiria comes out soon, I think. Like, what is it? January 22nd. It's pretty soon. Not as soon as I thought, actually. That was about it, though. There's not a ton of stuff at the PS3 that was PS3 only. Guilty Gear again, but that's coming on the PS4. Evil Within also. I guess Gundam Breaker 2, that was there, but it wasn't at the Sony booth. Yakuza 0 is also coming to the PS3, but again, Metal Gear Solid 5, that's also coming to the PS3. That's about it, though. I can't think of anything else that was on the PS3. The PS3 is being phased out for the new stuff, which is, that's logical. But let's see. Continuing on, I guess we'll go over to Microsoft because Microsoft had a section all to themselves. It was all green all the time. Like you'd go in there and it was like so green that like the lights were reflecting off it, so like everything was green. You'd go in and you'd look a little greenish. Everyone looked greenish in that section. But it wasn't a ton of stuff there. They had a bunch of games set up, but there wasn't anything like really exciting or really like it was weird that they didn't show stuff that they already announced at the booth, because a lot of the game setups were like, here's a lot of Call of Duty things, go to town. But I guess that's the market, but yeah, I was expecting like to see new stuff for about Scalebound or Phantom Dust. Nothing. Not a single thing. The only really exciting thing for me that was like something new was the Agito announcement for that it's like a Agito cross Tatsunoko, which is awesome because the original, and like I've talked about this game Agito on my channel before because I reviewed the 3DS version. But that game is like, it's like an underground base simulator. This is not a game anybody wants to play besides me. It's an underground base simulator. Essentially, it's like you're imagine like a kind of tokusatsu villain where you're like the shocker units or whatever. You'd be like running your own underground base where you're creating monsters or creating heroes depending on what you want to do, and you're also like installing, essentially it's like a simulation, so you're installing like research laboratories and power plants and things on your underground base to be able to produce monsters, and then like an enemy base, like some other evil or good faction will be attacking your base. So you're building it up essentially and building monsters and selling things and whatever to get, through the scenario of whatever waves of attack. It's pretty awesome. It's a fun game. But originally it was a Kamen Rider crossover, so not Agito 1 and 3D don't have any crossover, but 2 and 3 have these kind of Kamen Rider crossovers where there's all these Kamen Riders you can get and Kamen Rider villains. But the new one is Agito Cross Tatsunoko, which is interesting because it has like, your kind of Gacha Man and Yatterman and all those. So that's pretty interesting. I was pretty excited for that game already, like even when it was just like unannounced Agito title. But now that it's across Tatsunoko, it's like even more interesting to me. It's pretty cool. But that was the most exciting thing for me out of the Xbox One section because all the other stuff I wanted to see just wasn't there. They had a bunch of stuff that was kind of also in other places. So there was like Metal Gear Solid, and there was like Raiden 5 that was new, but I don't think you could play it. I didn't see it. I saw a video of it. Ori and the Blind Forest was there. I didn't play it, but it was being hyped to me by Swery, who did. Okay, I'll talk about that now because it doesn't make sense when I'm talk about Ori first. I went to the D4 booth. It wasn't a booth. It was like a little section with a couch. But I went there and they were doing like a preview of D4. You could play it. And I went there and played a D4 with the Kinect. So I'm sitting on a couch like doing my Kinect motions or whatever. It was fun. And there was only two people at the booth. Someone helping people play the game to like explain how the Kinect worked and whatever if they hadn't used it before, and Swery, who's the developer. So he was there, and I talked to him for about 10 or 15 minutes or so, and he was pretty cool. He was like telling me that, okay, this is where I go back to the Ori story, that his friend is a developer for Ori, so I should get that too if I get an Xbox One. But yeah, that was the thing. Ori and the Blind Forest. It looks pretty interesting, actually. It was a game I talked about on the podcast with Josh, and Josh was more excited about it than I was. But it does look good, and I'll probably actually get it because, it's not like there's a ton of games I want for the Xbox One. So it should stay on there. Raiden 5 should go on the list, though, because that seems pretty interesting to me. But yeah, I played D4, and D4 I would recommend. It reminded me a lot of kind of the art style and the kind of humor you would have in what's it called? Killer is Dead. It reminded me a lot of Killer is Dead, actually, in some ways. And then it reminded me of like Killer is Dead mixed with a kind of gameplay style, for the most part, like Heavy Rain. So, but it's like Heavy Rain's crazy Japanese cousin or something. That's kind of how D4 is. I'm wearing a D4 T-shirt, which I got for playing the demo. So if you guys can see my D4 T-shirt, it's pretty. It was pretty cool. I got a pin too. Oh, here it is. D4, the pin. I got it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I got a T-shirt and pin for playing the demo. I didn't know I got that, but I got it for playing the demo. I was told while I was waiting. I was just looking at the game. I didn't even realize I could play until I saw someone else playing, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, you can have a T-shirt if you play." Oh, okay, I wanted to play anyway. So that worked. Xbox One, not a lot of stuff. It was weird because there was a big section and there was a lot of stuff to play, but it was literally games that were already out or games that were everywhere else too. It seemed like a weird strategy, but I guess there's probably not a ton of stuff. There was a small section for the games like whatever that Chaos Child series game is from 5BP. There was a bit of that, but not in the Xbox section. It wasn't even in that section. It was somewhere else in like the 5BP booth. So, yeah, kind of weird. Continuing on, not a whole lot. Well, the 3DS and the Wii U. Um, yeah, not a whole lot of stuff in that market. The Wii U had nothing, like literally nothing. There was Fatal Frame was there, the new Zero game. That was there, but again, that's coming out in like 4 days. It's almost out. It's not a new game. It's not like it's something they announced. They announced nothing at TGS at least. Hopefully Nintendo will announce something different. I guess I don't know. But Hyrule Warriors was there. That's already out too. I think everywhere now. But I don't have any interest in that. I didn't even look at it. But beyond that, I saw nothing for the Wii U. Um, like it's weird because I would you'd expect like something like there were all the major third party developers are there, but there was like pretty much nobody had something for the Wii U except for um, Koei Tecmo. That's it. Um, Poor Wii U. There was 3DS stuff though, but not a ton of that either. Which, again, it's not filling me with confidence anymore. Like the 3DS used to have a lot of stuff like coming out for it. I have a bunch of games for the 3DS, and I like the 3DS. But recently, there's been like crazy slowdown with the amount of games coming out for it. Like, and the announced like upcoming releases is really slow. So it kind of doesn't fill me with confidence for the next year of the 3DS. Hopefully, like Nintendo is just kind of keeping a lid on that stuff for some reason, so they can announce it later. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but God, I hope so. But the only thing I was really incredibly excited about was that Devil Survivor 2, a game that was announced like 2 years ago, um, has a actual release date now. But who knows? It's supposed to come out sometime in January, but it was supposed to come out this year in January, and then in the summer, and then next January. So, and I think last November too. I don't know. It's been delayed so much. But I'll get it because even though I really I really like the one on the DS, but so I'm pretty much down for some new uh, Devil Survivor. Even though it's not like a full new game, I guess it's still all right. Got some new scenarios in there. That's good. There was what else? They were showing Etrian Odyssey Untold 2. Etrian Odyssey 2 is my least favorite Etrian Odyssey game, and adding set characters to Etrian Odyssey doesn't make me want to buy it. So Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold, or Untold 2, I guess. It's not even called that in Japan. Whatever. I'm not going to go into it because it's annoying to me. But Etrian Odyssey Untold 2 was shown, and I'm not interested. I'm not going to buy it. I didn't buy Untold. I'm not going to buy Untold 2. If they put out a new Etrian Odyssey game, I'll buy it. There we go. Final Fantasy Explorers was there. I didn't really check it out that much, though. I'm not incredibly interested in that either. It's like, Final Fantasy Monster Hunter. Who cares? I'm sure that game is going to sell really well, actually. I think that's going to be a pretty popular game in Japan. But I don't know. It seems like not something I want to play. The Great Ace Attorney was there, whatever that is. Dai Gyakuten Saiban, I think it's called in Japanese. Um, I'm not like a huge Ace Attorney fan or anything. I've only played the first one, so it's just not like my type of thing, I guess. So I'm not really interested in that. Yeah. Besides that, I'm trying to think of what else was there for the 3DS. Where's my book? This. Oh yeah, this is the Tokyo Gameshow guide, the floor guide. But there were some things there. Oh wait, but it's Popolo Croy Farm Story or whatever. It's like what's it called? It's Harvest Moon in the Popolo Croy world. I seriously doubt that would get localized. But there's that. I guess I'll flip through this. There wasn't really that much stuff though. 3DS had kind of a whole lot of nothing, as with the Wii U. There were a ton of smartphone stuff there, but I didn't really check much of that out. All the major publishers have smartphone sections. Konami also had a huge smartphone section that I just avoided. There were a bunch of indie games as well. There were a huge indie game section. And then there were two indie game sections really, because there was like a regular indie game section, and then there was like a Sony supported PlayStation indie game section that was separate from the regular indie games. And there was a lot of like student games section where like game development schools were showing off games that students had made. That's about it though. Not a huge amount of stuff that I was like incredibly interested in. I'm trying to think of what else I looked at. I got a Phantasy Star Online 2 file here, file folder. That's about it though. I got a hardline, a Battlefield Hardline bag. This is a story. I played Battlefield Hardline. There was a big line for it, and I wasn't gonna play it because I don't like Battlefield and I don't like first-person shooters. But it turns out like my friend was running the booth. Like he said he was there at TGS at the Battlefield thing. I was like, well, I wonder what he's doing. I wonder if I'm going to be able to find him, because there was a ton of people. And he was like the main guy at the booth. He was like doing the live broadcast at the booth. So I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to find him. There's a huge monitor and he's on it. So I was like, oh, well, that was easy. So, after he finished his little broadcast thing there, I like called him over and was talking to him, and he's like, oh yeah, you got to play it. And he's like, I'll give you a VIP pass, and like he just like gave me the VIP pass and like threw me in line. I mean, there wasn't a line because I was like just went right on through. So I was like, well, whatever, I'll just play. So I played Battlefield Hardline, and I don't know how Battlefield works. I've never played like this was my first experience with Battlefield, but it wasn't like I was expecting, because the thing we played was like this online team based online thing where like it was like cops and robbers, where like you had to be cops. Your one team was cops and one team was car thieves, and you had to like steal cars and destroy cars to win, I guess. I don't know. It was like the thieves had to destroy the cop cars, and the cops had to destroy the stolen cars or capture the stolen cars before the thieves got them. And it's kind of a team-based thing, but like, man, I honestly don't understand why people like playing online shooters at all. Like I don't understand the draw of it, because like it would do things like I would be spawning, when you die you respawn, but like I would respawn into a car and get blown up in a second. Like I would respawn into an exploding car or something. That doesn't make any sense. That's no fun. I was just like loading. That was all I was doing, because every time I was like reloading, I was always like spawning into some location where it was like suddenly being in a car or something, or like that somebody else was driving, and then like I'd get blown up. And in the times when that didn't happen, like I spawning in the middle of nowhere, kind of searching for a car or searching for other people, and then when I'd inevitably find them, like I'd be dead. So maybe this is fun for people. I don't know. It's not fun for me though. I didn't have fun with it. But I did get a Battlefield Hardline bag, and it was helpful when I was going home carrying stuff, because it's nondescript. It looked like I went to the gym instead of the Tokyo Game Show. But yeah, that was about it for TGS. I can't think of anything else that I saw there that was incredibly interesting. I didn't, like I said, I didn't play a bunch of stuff because I didn't want to wait in line all day, and there wasn't a ton of new announcements that were over the top amazing. And I mean, some of the trailers and stuff were good. I enjoyed that stuff. I enjoyed watching Bloodborne and Final Fantasy 15 and that Ajito Cross Tatsunoko is like my big game actually. But everything else that I'm excited for is stuff that's like coming really soon, like Fatal Frame, which I'll have this weekend, and what else did I mention? Oh yeah, The Evil Within. I keep forgetting that the English name is not Psycho Break, and like I'm trying not to confuse people. Whatever. Those two are coming like within the month, I guess. And stuff that I'm interested in that's coming is, like Shadow of Mordor was there, but again, that coming in like 2 days or something. It's like really soon. So I'm just gonna go to Akihabara and import it because the Japanese version doesn't come out until December. And Alien Isolation, I didn't see it there actually. It might have been, but I didn't see it. I think it's not being released in Japan, or there's no release date for Japan. So who knows about that? But I really wanted to see more of that. But again, that's coming in 2 weeks or a week and a half or so. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, I want to say it was kind of a lackluster TGS, even though there was a lot of cool stuff there. Only because most of that cool stuff was stuff that was already announced or stuff that we knew about already. So I didn't feel like there were a ton of like bombshells dropped, like all this amazing stuff was shown. It was kind of like, here's all this amazing stuff that we know about, and here's some new trailers for it. That's all right. That's okay, but not incredible. It wasn't like I wasn't like on the floor, like mind blown with pretty much anything. So still, that Ajito Cross Tatsunoko thing is like probably the most mind blowing for me, because it was something like totally unexpected. Whereas like everything else was just like, okay, now we have a release date for this game we've known about for months, or here's a new trailer for this game, or here's a delay for a game. Like Persona 5 was there, but it was the exact same trailer that we saw recently. So it wasn't anything new. Dancing All Night had a new trailer, but we know what kind of game it is. We know what characters are going to be there for the most part. So it wasn't exciting. It was kind of a disappointment, only because like I was expecting it sooner. So yeah, that was TGS, I guess. Not bad. Not like I said, there were a lot of good games there, but not a ton of new announcements, which is kind of what makes these things exciting. These kind of game shows, at least for me, is like crazy new exciting announcements, and there weren't a ton of them here. But yeah, Sony probably had the most interesting booth, only because they showed a ton of games. They showed a ton of reasons why you would want to buy a PS4, whereas the Xbox One didn't really do that. It just showed a lot of the same old stuff. And this is funny because like I was talking to like I said, I was talking to Swery, who is the developer for D4 and Deadly Premonition, just so you guys know who he is. But he was saying that like, I was saying like, yeah, I don't have an Xbox One yet because there has to be enough games to warrant me buying it, and right now there aren't. And he was like, yeah, but Xbox One has a lot of exclusives. And I was like, yeah, there are a lot of exclusives, but it's kind of the same old exclusives, that there's nothing new. nothing like super compelling at the moment. And he was like, yeah, that's kind of true because, you know, he's like, yeah, there's like Forza and a new Gears of War and Halo and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't really like any of those games. And I was like saying like, yeah, D4 is like a reason for me to buy an Xbox One. Um, but now I'm not even sure because he seemed like a little cagey on if it was going to be released on other things because he kept saying like it's only on Xbox One for now, you know, like so maybe I should wait on that. But it seems like you know for now it actually is only on the Xbox One, so it's still a check in the Xbox One column for something I want to play. But yeah, whatever. That was TGS. It was fun. I had a good time. I didn't take any video or pictures for the most part. I posted some stuff. Did I post stuff on Facebook? Maybe on my personal Facebook, not on my channel Facebook. I should post. I'll post it on Facebook. If you want to see the pictures I took, I'll post them on Facebook so you guys can see. Um, it's nothing exciting. I took a picture of the Sega booth and the Bloodborne thing, and that's about it. I mean, I seriously didn't take that much. There's a picture of me at the battlefield, the battlefield thing. They did this thing where you had to like take a mugshot beforehand, holding the battlefield sign. So I did that. That was all right, not bad. So yeah, that's about it. So maybe you guys will find this interesting. Maybe not. People asked me to do it. Is the only reason I'm doing this because I didn't feel like I have a lot of interesting stuff to say about TGS because there wasn't a lot of stuff I was super interested in or hyped or amazed with. But there was some good stuff there. So this is my TGS impression. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.